Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Up Culture. Please can you do the vital things and click subscribe. We are literally like few people away from 3,000 subscribers, so please can you just make the things be happening for us. Today we're going to be joined by a brother named Tashinga, who is going to be giving us some insight around creatives from other parts of Africa coming in and plugging into the creative culture. And here he is. Cool guys, so we have Tashinga in the car. Please can you introduce yourself, tell the human beings out there that are watching, what do you do, what are you providing?
He's a party starter.
My name is Tashinga. I'm in the entertainment business and I'm a film director by profession.
Yes.
I'm an artist manager, events curator, venue curator.
Okay, so today we're basically talking around people from other parts of Africa. We've commented on this in previous videos, the fact that we're looking at the creative culture today and how we have so many people from other parts of Africa contributing to our creative landscape, from music to literature to film to everything. And we never really, there's never really a spotlight on that, on where they're from, why it is that they're creating. In your opinion, do you actually feel like people even know that there are a lot of people from, I don't know, different parts of Africa coming into South Africa to do stuff?
I don't think a lot of people know it, especially if your name is like a generic name, if you know what I mean. I generally get asked a lot, where are you from, the moment I say my name. But there's a lot of people that, if it's a David or something, I would never know that they're not from South Africa. And those people generally never get known as a foreigner, because I'm trying to figure out why. I've got a few maybe reasons why people don't go out and say I'm a Zimbabwean film director, or I'm a Ghanaian musician or something. And I don't think it's something that's that recognized.
You want the work to speak for itself. Like, are you afraid of saying I am a Zimbabwean whatever, because that might hinder either investors, people that are wanting to come to the party, because they might assume it's going to be a Zim vibe or any kind of vibe outside of just a good party?
For me, I've got no fear of that at all. I think the work has spoken for itself enough now for people to not really care where I'm from. It's just, okay, Tashinga is doing this event, or Tashinga is doing this music video. It doesn't really matter where I'm from. But there is that fear from other people. I don't know. Like, firstly, I had this meeting with this girl from Somalia who apparently does not want to be recognized as Somalian. There's a lot of implications that go with it, apparently. Is
it implications locally, or?
It's I think it's back home. She says that. No. She says when you're in South Africa, you don't want to be known as Somalian. You'd rather be known as Ethiopian.
Okay.
Which is a very, I didn't really understand why, but and she's also a creative, and she hasn't been putting out the fact that she's Somalian. She kind of dresses differently in South Africa as she would at home, and we're gonna do a whole documentary on it, but
sounds interesting.
Probably gonna do it so. But I think your question was
the fear.
Investors.
Yes.
There is that. I mean, NFV something. NFVF only invests in South African projects, so you need to have I think 80% South African crew or something like that, which I understand. They're trying to build a South African film industry. So we always have to try and
have to catch up to Nigerwood. Nollywood.
Yeah, Nollywood.
Exactly.
So now we have to kind of find ways to bypass that. I write the script and find someone else to become the director or something. Or
isn't that shit though?
It is shit.
And also,
unfortunately, I'm gonna have to disagree, because to the point of saying it's shit in the sense that you have to hand it over. I understand what you mean, but the whole, to what you're saying, the whole point is to reinvest in ourselves. So unfortunately, the reason why they need you to have 80% of the people is because we don't have other programs that are allowing for Abadu to be employed in any kind of realm like that.
If I've written a script and it's based on a South African story, but I'm not from South Africa, they're not funding that. The director, producer, and a few other positions have to be South African, and that I think is the main problem.
I don't know. For me, let's say the NFV, whatever they are.
NFVF.
They have X amount of money to invest in South African creative space or whatever, movies. You come along with a wonderful idea. We love it, it's great, but the purpose of the NFVF's budget is to invest in South Africans. So for you to come with a great idea and say you must invest in me, even though it's a South African story, it's kind of defeating the purpose of the budget. I don't know. So yeah, for me it's like the purpose of them is to invest in South Africa and South Africans so that our creative industry grows in as much as Nollywood has grown because they've invested in themselves. It doesn't then make sense for a Nigerian artist to then come to South Africa because obviously it's also cheaper to film here, to then come do our story themselves and then leave and take their money.
The way I see it, and I've actually been advocating for this, I think there's a lot of collaboration space in Africa as a whole. And when you say a South African story, yes, there's stories that are purely South African, like
Kalushi. It's by Solomon Mahlangu.
Okay.
Or Tsotsi, or I don't know, whichever one.
There's stories that are purely South African, eh? But there's stories that can resonate with any African.
Right.
If you know what I mean. It doesn't even need to be a story about something that's happened. It could be like a fictional story or whatever. And if I'm Ghanaian and I want to tell a story about a Tanzanian that fell in love with a South African while they were in Zimbabwe,
right,
I should be able to do that. And South Africa should be, not South Africa only, but Africa as a whole should be able to support that. And
I hear that.
I know it sounds like I'm bashing NFVF, which I shouldn't be, because like you said, you raise a good point. Their mandate, the reason they're there is to help South African South African films.
Yeah.
However, maybe the South African government and other governments should come together and be like, listen, let's start a fund where we fund African films.
Maybe that's the call to action.
That's the call to action.
Maybe that's the call to action.
I mean, I'm not
now
saying.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to anyone who's outside of Africa that's keen to come in?
Outside Africa or South Africa?
Out of South Africa, so it's not from here, but is keen to come in and start something, because obviously apparently South Africa is the land of opportunities. What would you have to say to that person? Because I mean, obviously the news is not really telling the best stories about the xenophobic situations, because it really is shitty right now. What is that advice?
I think it's kind of a tough one, because I didn't know I was going to be here I didn't know I was going to end up doing what I'm doing now when I moved here, if you know what I mean. But certain things then, like the way the dots connected, then had me doing what I'm doing. But I think the biggest thing that I would say is live in the space for a little bit. So you actually kind of need to be in South Africa and see how different it is from home, because I know Zimbabwe is different from here. Throwing an event in Zimbabwe is definitely different from here. Throwing an event in Joburg is different from Cape Town. You know what I mean? So I think the advice I'd give is either do some crazy ass research or come live here for a little bit, get to know the space, and then take a chance. South Africa is seen as a land of opportunity because it actually is. That's the way it is, and the rest of Africa there's a lot of shit going on, and we all know that. And a lot of people that move here because they have no other choice. And I think another piece of advice I'd give after saying no other choice is just remember why you came here while you're here, because there's a lot of distractions that are in South Africa.
Anywho, thank you Tashinga for coming through.
No problem.
I feel dizzy, to be quite honest. To everybody who's watching, I don't know if you're with me, but leave your comments below. Tell us what you guys think. Are you guys listening to or watching any stuff that you either knew or didn't know was created by someone who isn't from South Africa? Are you asking yourselves these questions?
10 Fingers video.
10 Fingers video. I don't know what's happening.
AK and Anati was directed by a guy called Davies from England, and first assistant director was a guy called Tashinga from Zimbabwe.